tells you and me that the deen of Allah requires demonstrative efforts. And it begins like this. Bismillah. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. And the popular translation is, haven't you seen the one who has denied the judgment? So you get the impression that deen means judgment. And since deen means judgment, that is when you are dead. But deen is more than judgment. Deen has to do with judgment. But it is the judgment that will necessarily take place for people who are indebted to the Creator. The Arabic verb dana yadinu daynan wadinan means to owe. Deen is that relationship that necessarily becomes because of what one owes. The problem is, very few people really conduct their affairs in life as if they owe this life to the Creator. As if they owe all these gifts to the Creator. I told you I'm dealing with human beings. And we don't show that we really are gifts from Allah. When you and I feel and know and are convinced that our whole existence is borrowed, is loaned, then we'll be part of something, a relationship that's called deen. Because judgment is with the one who has given us the wealth, the time, the opportunity. So the deen is the kind of lifestyle that results because of that relationship. And the Qur'an says, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Have you seen the one? Haven't you recognized the one who behaves as if he or she have no commitments, did not receive anything? We continue, we live on a daily basis. The average Muslim, their life lack what? It lack energy. They're full of excuses. So, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. When you and I make takdheeb, belie, deny, refuse to accept the deen, it means we are behaving as if, you know what? This body that I have, I really nurture it myself. All the wealth that you see I inherited, that was given to me, we feel we owe it to ourselves. We own it all. And that is why we have very little commitment to others. So the Qur'an gives us some pertinent examples. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ. What's the meaning of yatim? The common meaning of yatim is orphans. But the word yatim also means one who is vulnerable. And ignorant people are vulnerable. Uneducated people are vulnerable. Misguided people are vulnerable. People without divine guidance are vulnerable. And you could imagine when vulnerable people have children, belong to society, are members members of homes or organizations, or clubs, or communities, or countries. What a liability that is to themselves and all those who are attached. So the Qur'an says, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. The first evidence that you and I have to search for, are we part actively of enhancing the society? You know, I want a better society, not only for myself, but really for my family. But myself and my family, we do not live in this world alone. We do not live in this country alone. And as we say, the language says, no man is an island unto himself. That means a human being is a social creature. So if I am sincere that I want a better society for my children, what I have to do? I have to work for a better society for all children. And that's the dictation of the deen of Allah. Selfish people don't work for others. They tend to work for themselves and their family, and actually they're working against their family. And they don't realize that. And most of us seem not to have time and energy and commitment and money for these things. We have money for everything else. But we make excuses. And this is the kind of leadership we present to the families. And this is the leadership you get in many organizations. This is the leadership you have in cultural centers. If all of us really work for a better world, we'll be really working for ourselves and our families. وَمَا تُنْفِقُونَ مِنْ خَيْرٍ يُوَفَّى إِلَيْكُمْ. Everything you expend of goodness will return to you. But we are too selfish. We don't really follow the Islamic guidelines. Because you hear me talking many times. When we send out a call to do good things, there are very few people who come and take responsibility and leadership. No, it's a custom in the society of Muslims to pass the buck. It's a custom in Muslim societies to do what? To pass the buck. To put responsibility on others. We don't take responsibility in leadership. Sometimes people have to beg us to take responsibility for our own selves. This is the kind of wishy-washy situation we have in the Muslim community. There are always exceptions. So, the first condition that the Qur'an highlights, فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ, that's the one who does not take any leading role in removing vulnerability, ignorance, arrogance, darkness, poverty, illiteracy, misguidance from those who are exposed. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. And they take no leadership responsibility. They are not activists. That we should do something for the needy. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. The traditional translation of Musallin are people who are praying. Okay? This is the traditional translation. And we still have a lot of people praying, but don't care about what they say and they don't say. There are lots of people who are praying and don't understand. They never understood what they were saying, and until now they still don't understand, and it doesn't bother them. What matters to them is that different times of the night and the day,